Oh, greetings, everyone. Happy Youth Day and happy International Day of the African Child. So I will introduce myself a bit later, but I just want us to go through the program of the day. We'll begin with my welcome remarks. They are not exactly my own. They are coming from our president of our foundation in Rome. He sent his apologies that he's not able to join us online. So I'll welcome you on his behalf and on behalf of the Institute as well. And then after that, I will introduce our guest keynote speaker, Dr. Ivona Rebelo, who is with us. And after a keynote, we'll have an opportunity to see what is happening outside our fences, outside our walls, outside our country. We have an opportunity to interact with what children in Malawi are doing with the program called Youth Empowerment Clubs. Then after that, we have presentations from the children themselves. This is your day, so we need you to take the center stage. So we have 3 of our children here who give us, who share with us what they have. Then after that, we have another intervention. This time it will be from Madagascar. You know, they always say Africa and Madagascar, a short video from Madagascar to see also what the young people are doing from that side. Then after the Madagascar intervention, we'll have our director of the Secretariat of Solidarity, Brother Angel Diego. You broadcast from Rome. You will share with us the aspect of participation of children in the Universal Periodic Review and children at the giving children voices at the United Nations. Because that's part of also what our foundation does. And then we have closing remarks and the vote of thanks. And as per our Maris tradition, we don't just go. After everything is said and done, we will have time to have a snack. Some drinks and some snacks have been prepared for all of us. So we will not go back hungry. Food plays a very central role in everything that we do. So as I said earlier on, my name is Brother Fortune. I'm the Foundation for Marist International Solidarity regional link person in charge of children's rights for the region of Africa. We'll say more about the foundation a bit later on. And I'm going to be the moderator of this event. So on behalf of the Institute and our foundation, and on behalf of our President and Vicar General, Brother Ken MacDonald, and the Director General of the foundation, Mr. Andrea Rossi, the Director of the Secretariat of Solidarity, Brother Angel Diego, and all the foundation staff in Rome. I know some of them are watching right now. Angela, Rita, Martha, Eleonora, Pamela. Allow me to welcome everyone to this important event in our region of Africa and Madagascar. This is our second edition. We had the first event last year for those of you who were here. Allow me also to introduce and welcome St. Joseph's head of college, Miss Karen Darby Michaels. She's busy organizing people who are just coming in right now. And also PA Shelley, Miss Shelley. The college administration, our esteemed guests from the Catholic Schools Office, our keynote speaker, Dr. Ivona, whom I will introduce in a while, and also Brother Peter, my colleague and companion, who is always instrumental in the planning and execution of this event. Allow me also to welcome our partners, parents, and stakeholders, and the Catholic Network of Schools, and all those who have joined this live stream online from Madagascar, Brother Camille, Brother Michel, Miss Lancia Francoise, with all your child rights personnel, and other people who have joined from all the continents and many countries in different time zones. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This event is on its own a reflection of our cause from the last general chapter about being a global family. A global family celebrates global events, and the International Day of the African Child is indeed a global event for us. Most of all, I want to recognize all the students and young people and staff who are gathered here. Your presence and participation is not taken for granted. This is your event. This is your day. You are the future leaders of tomorrow, and the future belongs to you. Seize the moment. Why are we here today? As I said, this is not about a fanfare of food and drinks, but since 1991, June 16th is celebrated regionally and internationally as the Day of the African Child. Also to commemorate those children killed in the Soweto uprising here in South Africa. These kids marched in protest for the right to a good education. They were met with violence, and many were killed as a result of this. Today we honor and remember their sacrifice. In one of my keynotes, I once said that the African child is a miracle of versatility. This is an opportunity to raise awareness for the ongoing need to improve the education of children across Africa and Madagascar. The heroic acts of wanting their voices to be heard is what led us to be where we are today. It is why we are gathered here today. Young people of today, if you need heroes, behold the 1976 students who marched and protested against the apartheid regime. Those are your heroes. If you need superstars and celebrities, the 1976 students must be your superstars and must be your celebrities. This year's event marks a significant step in the Marist Institute ongoing commitments to the rights and empowerment of children in Africa and Madagascar, rooted in the fourth and fifth core of our 22nd General Chapter and aligned with the recommendations of Marist Mission Assembly. 3, the celebration reaffirms the Marist vision of a world where children's voices are heard, valued, and empowered. In keeping with this theme, the event places children and young people at the very heart of the program. You are not just participants. You are the main protagonist. Expressing your experiences, insights, and hopes through powerful acts of engagement and creativity as we are going to experience from your presentations. As the Foundation and Marist, we believe that it is crucial to empower children, transforming them into active agents of change. By engaging them directly, we foster a sense of ownership and responsibility in them, enabling them to drive the change they wish to see. For this reason, in this event, we are going to give agency to children, allowing them to share their perspectives and experiences on how they see the right to participation through their eyes. By including their voices, we emphasize the importance of their active participation and highlight their potential to influence and shape the world around them. The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, Article 12, emphasizes that children must be involved and included in matters affecting them. Hence, we should not only see you, but also hear from you. This event is also a platform for exchange and learning. highlighting best practices that can shape the future. One such model is the Youth Empowerment Clubs, a program that began in Malawi and is now expanding across all 5 Maris provinces in Africa. These clubs foster confidence, leadership, and participation, empowering youth to be agents of change in their schools and communities. It's a living example of how the Maris family translates commitment into action and solidarity into systemic change. As we look ahead with this second edition of the African Day of the African Child, the Maris family once again reaffirms its identity and mission: to walk alongside children and young people, placing them at the center of our lives, ministries, and hopes. In a world marked by inequality, conflict, environmental degradation, and threats to human dignity, we stand not as distant observers, but as active partners in transformation. Upholding the rights and voices of children is not an educational choice, it is a moral imperative, a prophetic act of justice, and a response of love to a fractured world. This event is not merely a commemoration, it's not a food fanfare, as we shall eat and celebrate later. It's a catalyst, a space where participation is fostered, empowerment is lived, and transformative models are shared. We are united by a common aspiration to deepen our impact, to empower the young generations, and to build a world where love, peace, compassion, and justice are not distant ideals, but lived realities. We believe that empowering children to be active participants not only enhances their development, but also strengthens our collective mission towards creating a more just and equitable society. In its quest, FMSI, our foundation, has facilitated the Universal Periodic Review, which is a human rights peer mechanism system to hold government accountable. Using our ECOSOC status with the United Nations, we have submitted a good number of Universal Periodic Reviews, even for South Africa, and a good number of countries here in the region, mostly focusing on education, child labor, child trafficking, and addressing child poverty. Let's join hands in commemorating the International Day of the African Child today. I thank you. Thank you very much. I saw that you were listening attentively. I'm going to ask you questions regarding my speech, but we'll do that a bit at the end. But at this point in time of our program, allow me to introduce a very special person, a person that I personally have worked with in terms of child safeguarding and in terms of the Catholic Education Congress that was held a few years ago. Allow me to introduce our guest keynote speaker, Dr. Ivona. I would like to just share with you a short bio. I want this to serve as an inspiration, particularly to the girl child who is here. That if she did it, why can't you do it? So Dr. Ivona was brought and bred in Cape Town. She attended St. Mary's Convent in Cape Town and went on to study teaching at the University of Cape Town. She has an honors degree in educational psychology. She has a master's and a doctorate in educational management and leadership. She was a high school teacher for a number of years and currently heads up Catholic education in Western Cape. She has a special interest in social justice, education, and youth empowerment, and has worked with the City of Cape Town, the Catholic Church, and the Western Cape Education Department to develop courses and resources for youth leadership development and learner representative council training. Allow me to join hands together with all of us in this hall to welcome Dr. Ivona.
I think it's fine. I can manage here. Yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's lovely to be with you. I think maybe before we start, before I start with my talk, I'd like just to acknowledge the people who are present today. And obviously we thank St. Joseph's, our hosts and hostesses. So let St. Joseph's students stand and we can give you a round of applause. St. Joseph, you are our hosts. You stand. We want to say thank you for inviting us here today. Thank you, St. Joseph's Marist. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you. So, Brother Fortune told you that St. Joseph's belongs to the Marist family, and all the schools that are present here today have come from a Catholic background. So the St. Joseph's children come from Marist, and we're using their beautiful facilities today. We also have a school from Clark's Estate, Elsie's River, Matrisfontein, and that is Marion High. So Marion High ladies, who St. Dominic is the founder of your school, will you stand so we can greet you, Marion High? You're very, very welcome, ladies. Thank you. Right. They are, thank you very much. They are a girls-only school, and they had to write an exam before coming here this morning. So they've got a pretty strict principal who made sure they wrote the exam before they could get here. And then last but not least, we also welcome a big group of people from Salesians, Learn to Live School of Skills. So young men and young women, let's stand and let's acknowledge you. Stand tall and proud. Thank you. You may sit down. Thank you. So when Brother Fortune first approached me, I thought, what could someone share with young people today as you celebrate the Day of the African Young Person? None of you are little children. You're all young adults, aren't you? Some of you are closer towards entering your adult life. Some still got a few more years to go. But what I thought I could share with you, and remember, I'm in my last third of my life. You are in your first third of your life. When were you born? Were you born before democracy or after democracy? After democracy. Democracy came to this country in 1994. So you're what we call the generation of born frees. That means you didn't grow up in a country where there were rules and regulations which treated you differently, like those children in 1976. Those young people went to protest because they would not be prepared. They were not going to accept second-hand education. They were not going to accept something that was not good enough for them. And they said, no, we protest. And you've seen that picture, that iconic picture of Hector Peterson's body being carried by his friends. And as they were running down from the police, the children were shot in the back. Now, that isn't so different for many of our children today, except it isn't the police that are shooting. Often it's the gangsters, and people are embroiled in all kinds of terrible socioeconomic circumstances that are perpetuating violence. I want to ask you a riddle to see how awake you are today. Okay, let's see. You're all young brains, nice and alive and well. So this is the story. Okay, the man who designed it doesn't need it. The man who bought it doesn't need it either. And the man who's going to be using it doesn't really know much about it. What is it? Think? The man who designed it doesn't need it. The man who bought it doesn't need it. The man who's going to use it doesn't know much about it at all. What is it? Yes. A coffin. Well done. Right, a coffin. Okay, well done. We are nice and bright this morning. Lovely. Okay. Now, the reason, young men and women, why I'm sharing this with you, okay, you are still got a lot of life ahead of you. But I'm sure you've all seen a coffin. And none of us really like to look at coffins because it reminds us of our own immortality, reminds us of our mortality, that we're all going to die one day. And that's the way things are meant to be. We have a time for being born and a time to die. But a coffin should be an image to you that signifies that you must live every single day to the fullest. You don't only live once. There's a beautiful picture, cartoon of Snoopy and Charlie Brown. You know Snoopy, the little dog, little long ears, and Charlie Brown? You, not the generation who actually reads comics, but back in the day, there were comic books about Snoopy and Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown's got his arm around his dog called Snoopy. And he says, Snoopy, I tell you, we every day we live a new life. And Snoopy says, no, we do live life every day, but we only die once. And I think that's what we've got to remember. Every day is a new opportunity to live and to be the best version of yourself. So when we think about how much longer you've got in your life, would you say you've got 50, 60, 70 years? You're the generation you probably could live until you're 100. On Friday, I went to a funeral of an old Dominican sister who was going to turn 101 next week. Imagine living for 100 years. Now, you were born probably around 20 what? Give me an answer. 2010, 2012? 2011. Okay, so you were born this generation. Your parents, were they born in the 1900s? I was born in 1965. Ancient. But I lived through the hippie generation. I lived through a time when young girls were not really allowed to do the same subjects at school that boys did. We were told, no, you must do shorthand and typing. And I hated typing. I was hopeless at typing. We were told that you must do home economics. And you must learn how to sew and crochet. Now, those are very good skills to have, but I couldn't understand why boys were allowed to do maths and science and to do the exciting things in life. And they were allowed to do woodwork and carpentry and all kinds of skills programs that girls weren't allowed to do. But thank goodness today things have changed. And when I go through schools and I look at the programs that young people are engaged with, I think, wow, what opportunities you guys have today that the generations of yesteryear, your own parents didn't have. And are you really making optimal use of it? Do you really know that you can make an enormous difference in the world? So what difference can you make? What is the difference that you hope to make in your school community? Or are you just going to be a great big sponge? A sponge is going to soak up everything you can soak up and not give anything back to the world. Is that what your life is going to be like? I am entitled. I was born. I'm entitled to have all the good things that life offers me. Or do you say, no, I am blessed. I am blessed that I was created in the image of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit. And because I am blessed, I'm not going to let one blessing go to waste. I'm going to ensure that every blessing I've received, I'm going to multiply it. I'm going to do good with the blessings I receive. And some of you are sitting here this morning, and I can see you probably thinking, what blessings do I have? Life hasn't been that great. My parents put pressure on me. I've got to go find work one day. You are incredibly blessed. Think about what's happening in the Middle East. Think about children who are waking up this morning with dead family members scattered around them, body parts scattered around them. Think about children in the DRC, in Congo, in different parts of Africa that are facing famine. Think about Jocelyn Smith, who was human trafficked. And we're sitting in court and we're finding out about these human traffickers and what they do to young people. Think about the blessings that you've received. And think about why you've received those blessings. Because God is asking you to do something. He's asking you to sit here and give thanks for what you've got. But he's asking that you make a difference. So how do you make that difference? How do young people who cannot vote, because you've got to be 18 when you vote, you cannot vote, so you're thinking, what difference can I make? What about what's in your community? Your school community, your faith community, your social community? Do you notice things that are wrong? Do you get angry when you see things that are incorrect and unjust? Or you just think, oh, it's not my business, not my pony, not my problem? You say, no, I will not allow injustice to take place. Do you walk across the playground and you see a kid being bullied? You see a kid being pushed. Do you walk past it? Do you go and join in the bullying? Or do you say, this is not right? One of my fellow students is being treated inhumanely. I will stand up. I will speak for truth. Because if it happens to my fellow student today, tomorrow it will happen to me. If someone lies about someone in our community today, tomorrow they'll be lying about me. And who's going to stand up for me? Who's going to talk truth to power? Who's going to be that person who's going to go to the principal, who's going to go to the counselor and say, miss, ma'am, sir, this is not on. Who's going to be the young person who's going to stand up in front of their class and say, class, enough of this. We're not going to treat our own like animals. In this environment, we love each other. We are compassionate towards each other. We do the right thing. We support each other. And when I see someone going hungry and I got a bit extra, I give it to them. When I see something in my community that is not right, what do I do about it? I get a number of young people with me and I say, let our voices be heard. Do we have communities in schools where we can hear our voices, the voices of young people? Do you have representative learner councils where you can say, these are the things at the school, at Salesians, at Marion, at St. Joseph's, that I don't think are right. And we need to say something about this. We need to let our voices be heard. Management must hear what we've got to say. Or you're just not interested. Because if you're not interested, then you're basically saying to God and to your parents, you shouldn't have bothered creating me. You shouldn't have bothered having me. Today, you need to make a commitment to making your school, your environment, your family better. And how do we do that? It requires strength. It's much easier to be a selfish clod of a sponge. It's much easier to go through life thinking, me, myself, and I. Let me grab what I can get. Let me steal what I can get. But that's not just. That's not right. How do you encourage other people? You're here today, and maybe you've been called here today. Perhaps when Miss Cabrita, when your teacher said to you, there's a program happening at Mary's, oh, do I really have to go to that program? What's it going to be about? But you've been invited here, and you are here. Ask yourself why you are here and others aren't. Because you're being challenged to do something special. And how do we do special things? If you want to go far, you go alone. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. No one lives in isolation. As human beings, we cannot live on our own. The cruelest thing to do to anyone is to put them in solitary confinement in a prison. Do you know that? It's the cruelest thing to lock someone away and say no social interaction. We are human beings. We need each other. We need to laugh with each other. We need to cry with each other. We need to support each other. And we do that in community. And we have loving circles, community circles. And our community becomes our tribe, our people that look after us, our people that walk beside us. Have you ever seen a picture of emperor penguins? You know, the emperor penguins look like they are waiters. They're white in the front with black feathers. And they live in Antarctica, where it's icy, icy cold. And what they do is that they stand in a circle, and they huddle together really close to each other to keep each other warm. And what happens is the outer circle takes a turn and it moves inside. And when the outer circle is protecting the inner circle, the penguins on the inside are nice and toasty and warm. And then they take their turn and go to the outer circle. They look out for each other. If you've ever seen seabirds fly, you live in Cape Town, you see seabirds all the time. They fly in a V formation. Have you ever asked yourself why they fly in a V formation? And you hear the noise that they make. They honk, honk, honk. If you see hardy-daws flying, they make the terrible honking noise. So you ask yourself why they fly in a V formation. It's because by flying in a V formation, they give certain thermal waves to allow the bird in front, the leader bird, to be kept abreast, to stay on the front. They hoot from the background, encouraging the leader bird. Carry on, you're doing a good job. Honk, 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 you're doing a good job. And the leader bird's feeling all the pressure from the air hitting it, the leader bird. And when the leader bird gets tired, he or she just goes back to the end of the V. and another bird comes forward. No one says, hey, it's your turn to step up now and do this work. They just instinctually know it. When a bird gets sick, 2 other birds accompany that bird down to the floor, and they wait until the bird is better or until the bird dies, and then they rejoin their flock. These are instincts that are in animals, but they're also in us because we are animals. We've evolved, but we are. We've got the same blood, the same DNA that flows through most creatures in humankind. It flows through us. So we must also have that sense of community. What if I asked you to close your eyes for a moment and thought about the people in your life that matter most? Are they the people who wear the fanciest clothes, who drive the fanciest cars? Or are they your friends and family? For most of us, the people that really matter most in our lives are those that we break daily bread with. We sit and we chat to them, we tell stories, we cry with them, we laugh with them. How are we going to show those people? How many times have you said thank you today? The driver that brought you on the buses, how many of you hopped out of that bus without even saying thank you, sir, thank you, miss? How many times have you smiled at someone today? And not just kind of a shruggy smile, but you looked into their eyes and you acknowledged them. The eyes are the windows to your soul. How often do you look at someone and you genuinely, you know the Hindu saying, namaste, the God in me sees the God in you. When you look into someone's eyes, you see the God in that person. When you go back to school and you've done with this program, what are you going to take back to the people at your school? What are you going to say? Hopefully, some of you are going to do a presentation to your school. And I know that you're all very talented in terms of dance and arts, but you're going to do a little talk to for your students at school. And you say, I was part of a program at St. Joseph's to celebrate the African child. And I think it's by time that we stop being selfish. It's by time that we thought a little bit about the others. They have less than we have. There are always going to be people that got more than you, and there are always going to be people that got a whole lot less than you. Be satisfied with what you've got. And look for opportunities to notice. We call it advocacy. Advocacy, the guy who goes to court, if you can land up in a problem and you've got to go to court, there's an advocate who pleads on your behalf. So when we're asking you to be advocates, we're not asking you to be a lawyer and to suit up and lawyer up and go off to court. We're asking you to notice the issues that you need to speak out about. How can you speak out about issues? Using your voice, through song, through dance, through speeches, through writing. They always say the pen is mightier than the sword. And what does that mean? It's so easy for us just to bash someone. And that animal instinct comes out in people. It's so much harder to put your thoughts on paper. But words are what are going to influence people. Violence is never the solution. Never, ever. And we're not just violent with our fists. We're violent with our words. Every time you swear at a person, every time you call a person a horrible name, you are being violent towards them. It takes off a strip of their skin. Each time you wound someone with a word, you strip a layer of their skin off them and make them more and more vulnerable. So when you go back to school, you can look at the opportunities. Are there posters that perhaps you need to make to remind people in your school to be kind to each other? To remind people to be safe. When you're aware of people doing unsafe things, either online or in the school environment, do you say, it's not my problem, I'm not interested? Or do you say, no, it is my problem, because that's a young person who's got their life ahead of them, and they're getting themselves into nonsense here. And because they're a friend of mine, or because they're in my school, I'm going to go and look out for them. So I want us to think a little bit, people here today at St. Joseph's, as to how we can be advocates for a better world. How can we, every day of our lives, try and make a difference in someone's life, in our own life? And it starts with an attitude for gratitude. Would you say you're grateful? Waking up this morning, were you grateful? You said, thank you, God, I've got another day to live, to love, and to fill the world with joy. Or you say, oh, I've got to go to school today. I've got to find my uniform. You drag your weary body through the school gates. Or are you joyful? So by cultivating an attitude for gratitude, it really helps you change your mindset. Be grateful for the little things in life, and that positivity shines out. Think about how you can make a difference in your communities. You belong to a youth group, church groups, belong to student representative councils. Carry yourself with pride. For all of those who are slumped in their seat now, if you come into an interview and you sit yourself down in a chair and you slumped over, I'm your employer, your prospective employer, what am I going to think? This person doesn't really want a job. They're looking like they're bored. Even if you are bored, you don't let your body show you bored. You sit up. You're human with great dignity. You impress people. Give a firm handshake. You show a smile to people. You speak politely to people. You greet and you say thank you. It's a way people make the first assessment of you in the first 30 seconds that they see you. I'm not going to sit and go read through your CV and go read through all your accolades. The first 30 seconds I see you, I'm going to say, oh, that person's lazy. That person's not interested. That person's slapgat. Whereas you can give the world a really good impression. I know you mustn't read a book by its cover, but first impressions are important, especially for you young people who are going out into the world of work soon. It's a very competitive market. South Africa hasn't got a robust economy, but you're all in school, you're all being taught skills, you use them. There's so many who don't. How many of you watch the news that Boeing, I think it's 787, that crashed in India? Are you aware of it? Now, here was a guy who walked out of that plane with just a couple of scratches. What seat did he occupy? Marion's on fire here. Let's listen, Marion. 11A. Can you believe it? Entire Boeing 787 went down. Everyone on board was killed, except the man who occupied seat 11A. Apparently the airlines are going crazy. They say everyone wants to book 11A because it's the safest seat on the airline. I think it's just the way the plane crashed. But everyone got onto that flight. Flying today is nothing. I mean, people jump on planes and trains and automobiles all the time. No one knew when they got onto that flight that 10 minutes later, everyone bar one would be dead. You don't know when your card is called up. So the message I want you to leave you with today is make the world a better place. By, first of all, being grateful for the gifts you have received. By looking out for those who perhaps are a little bit weaker, more vulnerable than you are. And thirdly, by showing your abundance mentality. You know, when someone holds out a glass, someone said, Joe, you see the glass half full or half empty? What do you normally say? It's half empty. See the glass half full. See your opportunities as wonderful opportunities. So you are in, as I start off by saying, I think I'm in the last quarter of my life. Probably I haven't got a third of my life to live. You are in the first third of your life. The world is your oyster. Do you know what an oyster looks like? Have you ever had an oyster? They're very expensive, and they taste like slugs. They taste like snails, not very nice at all. I don't know why people want to eat oysters, but they do. And apparently there's wonderful benefits as well, which I don't know about. But apparently these oysters are very, very grand, and people go to fancy restaurants, they eat the oyster. Now, oysters are clam shell. And if a piece of sand gets into an oyster shell, you know what it does with that piece of sand? The chemicals in the oyster work on that granule of sand until over many, many years, a pearl develops in the oyster. And that is the fruit of an oyster being irritated. So the moral of the story is, what irritates you the most? What gets under your skin? What annoys you? What frustrates you? Instead of being angry with that, turn it into a pearl. Because what we need in life is not just opportunity, but we need resilience. People like you who are strong, who can be one day down in the dumps, the next day you're up on your feet again, up for the challenge. We need people who are resilient, can see every day as a new start. So I'm looking really forward to listening to our young presenters speak. I think it's a wonderful opportunity to hear from the voices of the youth, and hopefully you'll get to meet each other afterwards and have a little bit of conversation. Tell each other about your lives. Tell each other about the school that you attend. Tell each other about the projects. Maybe, who knows, there might in this room be sitting the next president of South Africa, the next mayor of Cape Town, the next minister of education, the next Picasso, the next great Peter Turin, sitting in this room. All we need is for the opportunity to present itself and for you to meet that opportunity. There was a beautiful story, and I'm going to end on this story. Michelangelo, do you know who Michelangelo is? The great, is the great artist and also a sculptor. Michelangelo used to have big blocks of stone delivered, marble delivered to his studio. And his students, who used to support him in chiseling away the marble, would say, "Michelangelo, what are we going to carve today?" And he would say, "Can't you see that angel? It's in that rock." But all they could see was a big chunk of a marble. And he would say, "What we're going to do is we're going to chisel away until we set that angel free." And that's what our lives are about. You journey through life, chiseling away every day, dealing with the hardships, the inconvenience, so that angel can be set free. So young people, you are going to be living for another 4, 5, 6, 7 decades, aren't you? At least, I'm sure. Think about what you can be doing. So let's think, if you were born in 2012, and you add 70 to 2012, when do you think we might be coming to your funeral service? Which year? 2012 plus 70 is? 2082. Quite impressive, eh? Not many of us are going to be around. All of us sitting here who colour our hair regularly, we're all going to be pushing up daisies. But you're going to be around in 2050, 2060, 2070. Make sure the world is better and South Africa is better than it was in 2025. Thank you very much, everyone. Everything of the best for the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ivona. I'm sure we are learning a lot. Remember, I will have questions for you at the end of these presentations. So I want us to take a journey, and we want to go to Malawi. We want to see who knows where Malawi is. I see some people raising their hands. Yeah. We want to see what kids in Malawi have done in terms of youth empowerment clubs, an opportunity, a platform to exercise the right to participation, the right to make a difference. Thank you.
Youth and Empowerment Clubs is most like a social group of students, which is taking on board both boys and girls here at Likuni Boys Secondary School.
The boys and girls in this project face a lot of challenges, but mental health, resilience in particular, helped the participants to gain more confidence in their own lives. Everything was possible today because of this wonderful networking. So thank you to everyone, Miss Ankara in particular.
More girls have no confidence in what they are doing. Then girls empowerment, that helps us to have courage on doing things like education and businesses.
It shows who really we are, our culture, our tribes.
Having boys in the Youth Empowerment Club is actually very important because as boys we're also humans, so it enables us to be successful in our studies, in our homes, wherever we go.
They can sit down together and share ideas. As teachers, we are only there just to guide that whatever the students are discussing, it really needs to benefit them now and then in their near future.
3 years later, they are able to stand up and with confidence speak and maybe ask to consider their needs as full human beings.
My role model, my aunt, she's a girl, but she needed to be an engineer. She's the one who motivated me that girls can be anything.
Okay, this message is very important because for young people, we need to be motivated on how we can improve our country.
You teach us the goodness about education. When we are together, you make us to forget the tribulation we had left in our homes. You came like a good Samaritan to stand with us and to encourage us more about school.
She is a warrior, gentle yet fierce, with love as her armor. She rises, she thrives, empowers and free. A beacon of hope for you and me.
And Empowerment Club has impacted a lot in students is for them to be in class and continue their education.
Any more issues regarding teenage pregnancies? Parents forcing their girls to go into early marriages. There has been an improvement in academic performance. Education plays a huge role in their own lives. To break the chains of poverty, for example, education is the key.
It gives us hope for the hopeless. It gives us faith for the faithless. It makes us to believe in ourselves, be strong and confident to fulfill our dreams.
There is a saying that says that a child who has not traveled will always think that their mom is the best cook in the world. So I think it does us no harm to see what kids are doing in other parts of the world and what transformation that they are making. So at this point in time, I would like to invite our first presenter amongst the children, and they will introduce themselves first, and then they will share with us what they have. Thank you.
Good morning. Standing before you is Mikulu Mtini, and today we will be talking about the children's right to participate in matters that affect them. In his book called The African Child, Kamara Lay says, "To be a child of Africa is to be a witness to the miracle of life, a part of something greater and more powerful than yourself. Being a child of Africa is being part of a family, a rich history that bonds people from all walks of life. It's being empowered by those who paved the way for you, for your dreams and aspirations, while ensuring that you yourself pave the way for those who are to come after you. On the International Day of the African Child, we celebrate the greatest asset of our continent, the children of Africa. With young minds that are always ready to be reached and the courage to conquer the world, the children of Africa are its future. That is why it is important that we ensure that the young, brilliant minds of African children, as well as their development, are prioritized, and the most impactful way of achieving this is protecting and empowering the rights of the African child. With many things in the world today affecting the lives and futures of the children of Africa, such as inequality in the education sector, poverty, and many more other things, it is important that we preserve the children's right to participate in matters that affect them. As we see from many events in the history of Africa, such as the Soweto Uprising of 1979, a big part of what makes this continent what it is today is the principle of being stronger together. Through events like those, we see the power and resilience that lays within every one of the children of Africa, the strength that is radiated when we roar as one pride. Throughout our history, we Africans have embraced the African proverb that says, "Sticks in a bundle are unbreakable." By empowering the African child to participate in matters affecting them and to reinforce their rights, we ensure the continuation of this. We ensure that just as we were stronger together in the past, we will continue to be stronger together even in the future. Although we have come very far as a continent and as the world, there is still a long way to go in order to create true equality in society, to ensure the growth and prosperity of our children, of all our children. As an African child myself, my heart breaks knowing that not all my African brothers and sisters have access to good quality education and other resources that they need to succeed in life. And I feel that we as a society can aim to become better at listening to the children of Africa, hearing their struggles, giving them the platforms that they need to express themselves, giving them a voice. In isiXhosa we say, "Umntu ngumntu ngabantu," I am because you are. As a continent, it is important that we remember to embrace this, because the success of the African child is the success of all of us as the family of Africa.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Pearson Harper. When I was presented with the question, how do you feel empowered as a child in matters affecting you, I immediately realized that I actually have a large number of resources at my disposal to make a change. I have a school that gives me a platform to speak my mind and share my thoughts with my peers. I compete in a sport that teaches respect for others, opinions, and open-mindedness. I have friends who are like-minded and will step up when they feel that they are being treated unfairly, or when someone else is. I have access to media platforms like podcasts and interviews that are streamed to millions of today's youth around Africa, Asia, Europe, and every other corner of this world. With matters that affect me, such as my future, I feel that I am what we call a small fish in a big pond. But even so, I have a voice, and so do you. We have the ability to understand the needs of our people, whether they are underprivileged or part of the top 1% of the population. I have the courage and passion to stand before anybody and give my opinion, no matter who they are, and you should too. Of course, as a child, it is a challenge for our elders to understand us. Most of the time, the age gap creates quite a large grey area in thought about what is right, or perhaps what is needed in today's society. There are always going to be disagreements, no matter where you go in the world, or no matter how large the age gap is. But a complete disconnection between our elders and our youth will be the destruction of African society. There is a saying that goes along the lines of, the youth walk faster, but the elderly know the road. This saying highlights to us that the youth of today's world and the elders need to work together. What we need today is a deep understanding of our history, even if it hurts us. Because a tree that does not know where its roots are will never grow. In the same way, a child that does not understand their history will never grow and be able to make a change. When I was young, my parents had the right idea to educate my sister and myself on our family's roots. Because of this, we understand who we are. And in a way, we are able to slowly find the path that God would like to put us on. This is something that is essential for the growth and uniting of all the youth of Africa. By being able to accept our differences, look past our histories, and unite as one like-minded force, we are able to do virtually anything. In terms of empowerment of today's youth, I feel that we as a society are failing our youth. We are not encouraging them enough to stand up and actually do something when they see something wrong. I'm not saying we need activists or influencers. I'm saying we need a brave youth that understands how to present their opinion in a well-thought-out manner that will not cause conflict. A youth that will actually do something instead of hiding behind a screen and being a keyboard warrior. My ancestors before me fought for their freedom. They did not accept their situation. They actually did something. My parents taught my sister and I that we cannot be grown people if we stand by and do nothing when others have wrongdoings enacted on them. What we need today is a way of making our youth appreciate what they have. By doing this, the youth will cherish what they have and grow it for the next generations. We must stand up and do something for our youth before it's too late. We cannot let them lose their humanity. As I stand here before you today, to our elders and adults, I ask you to go home and educate your children, if you have any. Tell them about their history. Tell them about the conditions that some young people have to live in within our country and our continent. Tell the children about how women are abused within our country and our continent. Do not let them live in a false reality where they think, oh no, that will never happen to me. Do not let them think, oh no, that won't happen because someone else will do something about it. They can be the change. You can be the change. Remind them of the children living in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Remind them of the children living in Sudan, Haiti, Syria, Palestine, Amhara, Nigeria, Kurdistan, Mali, West Papua New Guinea, Tigray, Afghanistan, Uyghur, Cabo Delgado, Lebanon, Iran, Central African Republic, Cameroon, Somalia, Libya, Yemen, Myanmar. There are many other countries that I can mention here, but I'm sure this list will do enough convincing for you. We need to heal our youth before we can grow again as a community of Africa. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Gabriella Darby. We are the youth. We have thoughts, we have dreams, we have something to say. People often talk about us, but not always to us. They plan for our future, but forget that we're already living in it. We're not waiting to grow up to have ideas. We already do. Sometimes the loudest voices in the room aren't the ones with the freshest thinking. Sometimes it's a quiet child with a wild, brilliant thought no one's heard before. Young people are not waiting to be tomorrow's leaders. We are already leading in many small ways. We care deeply about the issues shaping our lives, and we want to be heard. We want to be heard in education, not just as learners, but as co-creators of knowledge. We enjoy lessons that are relevant, that teach us how to think critically, manage our mental health, understand the world, and shape our future. We need to be heard when we talk about mental well-being. We want support, not stigma, safe spaces, not silence, and adults who listen when we say we're struggling, not just with academics, but with life. We expect to be heard in conversations about fairness and justice because we notice the injustices. We want to stand against racism, sexism, bullying, and inequality wherever we see it, whether in school or in society. We will speak up for the planet we will inherit. We care about clean air, green spaces, and real action on climate change. We want to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Our opinions count in the digital world too. We can help to shape how technology is used safely and wisely. We challenge online hate and we promote kindness, responsibility, and access for all. We want our voices heard in school councils, youth forums, and community projects, because we don't just have complaints, we have ideas. We don't just point out what's wrong, we want to help make it right. We're not always going to get it right, but we're learning. And part of growing up is learning how to disagree without disrespect, how to stand up without stepping on someone else, how to share our truth and still make space for someone else's. You haven't heard the full story until you've heard the voice of a child. And maybe, just maybe, what we have to say can help shape a better future for everyone. Having a voice doesn't mean shouting to be heard. It means learning how to speak, clearly, respectfully, and with care. As young people, we also carry a responsibility to build bridges, not walls, with our words. We must realize that although we want to be heard, there is a way to go about speaking to someone else that will make them more inclined to listen and pay attention to what we have to say. This does not mean that we should go about getting our points across by being extremely adamant and unwilling to listen to the opinions of the people listening to us. It means speaking calmly with confidence so that you don't come across as someone who is arrogant and forceful about their opinion. To every person that sees us as thinkers, who respects our inputs and values our efforts and opinions, thank you. You don't just give us knowledge, you help us make meaning of it. This Youth Day, we're not just asking to be seen, we're asking to be included, to be trusted, to be allowed to help shape the world we're growing into. We are not just the leaders of tomorrow, we are already leading in small ways today, because real change happens, not when one side speaks louder, but when we all speak and we all listen. Thank you.
As I was listening, I was just saying, wow, wow, with my eyes open. I've learned something, and I've learned a lot, and I hope everyone in this room is learning. And I want to correct myself. I think as I began my speech, I said, you are the leaders of tomorrow. But now I stand corrected when I hear that you are saying you are actually leading now. Children are leading now in so many ways. It's good to recognize that children have urgency, children have competencies. Children are not just dolls or electric gadgets that will follow whatever we say, but you also have competencies. You also think, you also act within your framework of your thoughts. So it's always good to learn that. And also we heard about the responsible use of social media. How do you participate responsibly in the responsible use of social media? One thing is that we never, when we were talking about Dr. Ivona giving us a keynote speech, we never told you what the kids are going to say, but I'm very happy that you have seen that it's in sync. This is what can come out of you as children. These are the fruits of participation. Your right not only to be seen, but to be heard. In the past, when many people grew up, they were saying that children must be seen, yeah? That you must be seen and you mustn't be heard. But we are saying, we are giving you the platform. We are giving you the theater stage for you to be seen and heard. And also that you participate in matters that affect you. So I want us to go on another aeroplane. This time we are not taking seat 11A. We are going to fly to Madagascar. So I want to take all of us to Madagascar and see what the kids there are doing in terms of child participation in matters that affect them. In designing school rules, how are they contributing in matters that affect them, and designing school rules? What are the rights and the wrongs as they are learning in one of our schools? So, ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts. There will be a bit of turbulence, and we are on our way to Madagascar. Thank you.
What's the most important things that children need to live freely and fully?
The most important things that children need to live freely and fully are based on their rights. Protection,
Education, healthcare,
home, and so on.
If these rights are well respected, we can say children can live freely and fully.
Thank you very much. I think the video is a short version of what you're supposed to see, but just for you to have a glimpse of what is happening elsewhere, what is happening in the Maris world, where children are in educational spaces and how they are being empowered to participate in matters that affect them. At this point, I would like us to get on another plane. Today we are about flying. Remember, from Cape Town we went to Malawi, now I took you to Madagascar. Now I want us to get our passports and get straight to Rome. I would like to welcome and invite Brother Enkel Diego. Brother Enkel Diego is one of our brothers who is the director of the Secretariat of Solidarity. So he's going to say more about what he does in terms of children's rights advocacy in Geneva, in Switzerland, bringing children's voices to the United Nations. Our foundation, FMSI, Foundation for Marist International Solidarity, is what is called an ECOSOC status. Those of you who are doing history, you know ECOSOC means Economic and Social Council of the United Nations. So these are organizations that are affiliated with the United Nations, which means that we bring children's issues and voices to the UN level. This is very important because we don't just listen to you, but we take it to the highest level to say this is what children are saying, this is what children are going through. And Brother Enko Diego with the Secretariat of Solidarity, they do this a lot. So we want to bring him online if he's ready, and for him to share his work and the work that they have done in the Universal Periodic Review of countries like Liberia, Tanzania, and Malawi. Thank you. So just bear with us.
Hello, good morning, and nice to see to stay here with you this morning or this afternoon, depending on the place, or even this evening. Just let me check that I am already. You are already listening to me. Okay. Yes. Thank you for this invitation, and also thank you for the event that you have prepared for. Yes, in this International Day of the African Child. I think this is a perfect occasion to chat, to dialogue, to share a little bit about what is our purpose, or what is the role, in this case, of the Secretariat of Solidarity related with children's rights for the whole world, and especially children's rights for Africa. And I will try to present a little bit what is the work that we are doing from the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, and with the collaboration of FMSI. As you know, these two entities, Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, and the NGO FMSI, we are the two bodies in charge of human rights, children's rights in the institute, at the level of the whole institute. I will share with you my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen. Yes, a second. I'm trying to look for the screen. Yes, let me. I don't know what is going on. I cannot see the documents I already have here in the screen. In the meanwhile, I will try to look for it again, just to make sure that it works properly. As I was saying, my position, my role is to work in this area of children's rights for the whole Marist Institute, and not just myself, also with the collaboration of brother Diego Sabatsky. We are both the directors of the Secretariat of Solidarity, and apart from us, we will see it later in the slides of the presentation that I will share in a minute, hopefully. We are also with the collaboration of some members of the staff of FMSI. Yes, can you see my screen? But I hope that you can see my screen. What is a quick view of the work that we are doing in relation with children's rights. Just a little bit of history, of Marist history. As you know, from the very beginning, as Marist Institute, from the very beginning, in the time of Marceline Champagnat, we are engaged with human rights, with children's rights. At the time of Marceline Champagnat, it was not then this name rights, but we know that Marceline Champagnat, he was a great defender of the rights, even if they were not known as with this name, with this particular name, rights. From the very beginning, more than 200 years ago, we as Maris, we are committed with defending the human rights in general and children's rights, or the rights of the most vulnerable, especially kids, children, and young people. After many years, maybe around 20 or 30 years ago, in the General House here in Rome was created the Bigot International de Solidarité, or Solidarity. Just a body who was in charge of spreading solidarity in the whole Marist world. After that, around 17, 18 years ago, the NGO FMSI was created with the same purpose, with the purpose of promoting solidarity in the whole institute, helping to develop projects in different parts of the world. And also one of the areas, the big areas in FMSI, was advocacy. I mean, defending the rights of the children. In this point, it's important to know that FMSI, as NGO, they got the status ECOSOC. And what does it mean? It's the possibility of intervening in the United Nations and in other high-level meetings, especially related with countries and related with the United Nations. That is good because they allow us to participate in more meetings, to raise our voices, to raise the voices of the young people before the governments and before the United Nations. And since 2007, FMSI and the Maris Institute is participating in the different mechanisms related with human rights, children's rights, at the level of the United Nations. Yes, please remember this date of 2007 because it's important for the topic that I will speak about in a few moments. And the secretary, after a while, after several years, the General Council decided that they wanted to strengthen the position of solidarity and children's rights in the Institute. To do that, they decided to create a new body, a new organization inside the General House, the General Administration, called the Secretariat of Solidarity. That right now is called Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI, since 2019. What is the purpose of the Secretariat of Solidarity? Coordinate, animate the solidarity in a general sense, the solidarity in the whole world. Especially since 2023, we are especially committed to promote listening among people, and the listening especially among young people, children and young people. This is one of our purpose in the Secretariat of Solidarity, CMI. As I was saying before, FMSI got the status ECOSOC that allows us as a Maris to participate directly in the United Nations. That's why we are present there. We have an office there in Geneva, and we have the chance to participate in different mechanisms related with human rights. As you can see, I am saying both human rights and children's rights as more or less the same and synonyms. We, as a Marist, we are more focused especially in children's rights, children and young people's rights. Why? Because it's part of our charism. It doesn't mean that we are not attending other rights or the rights of other people, but yes, we are focused more on children's rights, as you already know. As an institute, in the last years, we were doing a big reflection about how to get people involved in these mechanisms or in the participation in the United only about a technical reports. It was not only about presenting technical information. We thought that it was important to present to the United Nations the real voices of the people, especially the real voices of the young people. That's why we are in line with the title of this meeting today, Empowering Voices, Enabling Change. At the level of the Institute, there are 3 topics or 3 documents or 3 moments that are quite important in this reflection about how to participate, how to promote the right to participation. First of all, the last general chapter, we have several ideas related with children's rights in the call number 5 of the last general chapter, promoting and defending the human rights, especially young people and the most vulnerable, and also in the call number 3 from the last general chapter, just to listen to the cry of the young people. Another important document in the Institute in the last years is the document related especially to the right of participation that is called Stand Up, Speak Up, and Act. This is the second important document. And the third document important for us, the Assembly of Mission, the Mission Assembly celebrated last year, 2024, in Spain. And one of the priorities of that big assembly is related with the right to participation. With all these ideas, reflecting on those ideas, reflecting how to make real the right to participation, we make this reflection, the Secretary of Solidarity, CMI, and also with FMSI, how to bring the United Nations closer to the concrete realities. There is let's say, a huge gap between the United Nations, very official, very technical, very important people there, and many times our presences are concrete presences. We were reflecting how to join both the concrete presences and this very big organization called the United Nations. We were participating in the United Nations in a technical way, and we say, how can we make these projects that we are developing in the United Nations, how can we make better known these projects? And how can we involve in these projects to the concrete people, to the concrete actors, brothers, teachers, and especially young people? How to involve people, young people, children and kids, young people, the people who is in our presences. How can we involve them? This is for us the big question. And I will explain a little bit how are we trying to do this. As I was saying, in the United Nations, we are participating there, bringing the concrete voices from the 80 countries where the Maris brothers are present. You can see on the right side of the screen the teams, the people who were or who is working in Geneva. Right now, we are the three at the top, Brother Diego, Pamela, and myself, Brother Angel Diego. And before, years ago, you know that also Brother Francis from West Africa, from Cameroon, was working in this position in the Secretariat of Solidarity. And to help us, we have some partners in Geneva, some institutions, faith-based institutions, some congregations that are our partners there in Geneva, and of course the partners in the concrete places, as you in the different provinces of Africa, in the different provinces and countries in the whole institute. We try to participate in the United Nations, especially through two mechanisms. The first one, that is the most used by us, the UPR, the Universal Periodic Review, that I will explain in a few moments. And another instrument that we are using the last months and the last years is the oral statement, another possibility to intervene, to present the voices of the people in the United Nations. Then mainly we have these two mechanisms. Let's go deeper a little bit in the UPR, in this report called Universal Periodic Review. This is a report to be presented in the United Nations in a technical way, but also this mechanism allows us to present the concrete voices. Then it's a technical report with concrete voices, and we are trying to join these two ideas. We have here on the screen the main objective: to reflect on the situation of children and young people in our educational centers and listen directly to their voices. And these voices to be included in the report, not just the ideas. We usually quote the suggestions, the recommendation from the kids, to include them directly in the reports. Then the main report presenting the situation about human rights, children's rights, but especially from the voices of our people in the concrete presences. You can see, and you could see during the presentation, several pictures with kids from different parts of the world, because this is an initiative that we are developing in the whole marriage world. In Africa, of course, later I will mention the countries where we were participating, or we are participating, or running these workshops, but we do the same in the whole marriage world. These documents, these reports, UPRs, they have especially two main sources to consult. One, the other documents from the government, the government of the country under review, and the documents of other countries, documents from the United Nations, one of the sources, and the second one, listen to the voices of young people in our marriage centers. This is important. This is not, as I was saying before, this is not only a technical report. We want to bring the real voices, not the voices of the brothers, not the voices of the teachers, not the voices of the educators in our presences. Our main focus are the voices of the young people. Of course, we try to listen to the voices of the adults, but our main focus are the voices of the young people, the children and young people. As you can see, other sources, listening the adults, listening the other organizations, just reviewing and listening and reading the information from the last documents, the last report, the last UPRs. It's another source for information to develop these UPRs. How can we do this process? We have a time of preparation before starting doing it, these UPRs, and before running the workshops with the children. First of all, we contact with the brother provincial, just to know if it's possible to develop this report in the country, if it's convenient, if it's prudent, if there is the possibility, the resources to do it. When the brother provincial tell us that it's possible, then we move to the second step, that is to contact the person in charge in the country. Maybe it's a brother, maybe a lay, and with him or with her, we have one or several meetings to analyze the time frame. Say, okay, when should we present this report? And let's start organizing ourselves. How and when are we going to run the workshops with the children? I will explain a little bit how these workshops are organized. Okay, then the first step, the preparation. The second step, the development of the sessions, the workshops. And after having the workshops, we have time to drafting the presentation, we want to summarize the information, how are we going to pick the main topics from the voices of the kids, which voices or recommendations, concrete recommendations, are we going to take from the kids. If we have a workshop with 100 students, maybe we have not the chance of writing the 100 recommendations, but we try to summarize them, or we try to synthesize the main ideas from the voices of the children, and as I was saying before, even writing, let's say, quotations from the kids. Many inside the reports there are sentences that are quoted from the children. And at the end of the process, when we have already written the report, we upload in the webpage of the United Nations. A little bit more about how we develop these workshops with kids. Again, you can continue seeing pictures from all over the world in the slides. Because this, as I was saying, this is an activity that we are trying to promote participation in the whole institute, especially with kids and young people. Important for these reports and very important for the workshops. Our workshops are not, we don't want to criticize anyone. It's not a criticism of the government, the international community, or other entities. It's not about criticism of the teacher, of the school, or the family. No, no, no. This is not the idea. And we avoid the critics. We simply seek to improve children's rights. We look for ideas about how to improve. What are the main topics to be improved in the lives of the people in the country, and what are the concrete recommendations that we, the kids, the community in the school, they want to propose to the United Nations. Of course, these activities are anonymous. I mean, we don't take the names of the kids. We don't take even we don't write even the names of the schools, because the report should be anonymous. The only name that appears in the document is the name of the country, of course, and the review, and also the name of FMSI, that as entity that who is presenting the report, and other possible partners. For example, in Africa, it's quite usual to present this report under the name of FMSI, with the partnership of SED, the NGO from Spain, and many times from the Maris provinces or another entities. Or even if we do these reports with the collaboration of other entities, other congregations, we include these other congregations. And of course, these reports and these workshops has to be respectful to everyone, to the opinions of everyone, just to promote this right to participation in a free way. When we are doing this workshop, first of all, after greeting the kids, we explain a little bit what is the process about and how are we going to run the workshops. And the workshop, after this brief explanation, we do it like in 3 steps. In the first step, just a time to think about the situation. With this question that we have there on the screen, what are the main rights in your country, related needs that you have in your daily life? This question or another question, a similar question, just to think, to invite the children to think by themselves, individually. The first step. Second step, time to share, especially if the group is quite big. This sharing is done by groups. We split the whole, let's say, a class of 40. We split in 5, 6, 7 groups, and by groups they have the chance to share their thinking. Remember, the first step is a thinking, individual activity. The second step, time to share by groups. What are the main ideas? Here, for example, we were doing this activity with the Belgian kids, or kids from Belgium, and what would you ask the Belgian authorities? Or you can substitute the name of Belgium for your own country. South Africa, Malawi, Liberia, Ivory Coast, whatever the country is. Time to sharing. And let's say after agreements. After having the chance of sharing all the contributions, individual contributions in the small group, we ask the groups to try to agree in 1 or 2 topics that they consider that they are the most important to improve the lives of the people in the country, to improve the lives of the children. And each group has to decide 1 or maximum 2 topics. And after choosing 1 topic, we invite them also to write concrete recommendation. For example, let's imagine that in 1 kid in the thinking time, the step number one, he or she thinks that is essential to improve their lives, to have a better transportation in the country, to go to school, to go to work for their parents, or to go to the doctor, whatever, to improve public transport. The second step, he or she in the group with others share his or her opinion, and after speaking all the members in the group, they say, oh, all of them, they agree that maybe a topic is public transportation. It's the most important topic. Then, in this third step, after the agreement in the topic, they say, okay, let's write concrete recommendations. Again, one or two or even more concrete recommendations. For example, concrete recommendation to reduce the fees in the public transport. It's very concrete. Or make public transport free for students. It's concrete. After having the topic, public transportation, concrete, reduce the fees of the public transport. Okay. We take all those contributions from all the groups, and with that information is the information that we will use to write the report. Just to show some information about this topic. You can see here the calendar that we are right now working in the first 51st session. You can see in yellow the countries where we have a Maris presence. If we will go to the 51st session, we can find that we have among all the countries in this session, we have Lebanon, Rwanda, and Australia. They are the three countries where we have a Maris presence. Then, for this session, we invited the representatives of the delegates of these three countries to work with us and to collaborate with us to do this job. Sometimes the people in the country, they do the activities, the workshop by their own. Sometimes they are confident, they have done before, or the people were trained in these UPRs, and they run the activities by their own. Perfect. Sometimes we, Brother Diego, Pamela, and myself, we go to the place to run the workshops. It will depend on the needs of the places, if they have someone that can run the workshop or not. And when it's possible, we go also there to help in the process. If not, as it has been the UPR of Australia and Lebanon, we didn't go there. We were explaining, having online meetings with the delegates of the country, and with that we got the reports. You can see we are finishing right now Lebanon, Rwanda, and Australia. In the next session will be Mozambique, they're in Africa, and another country. You can see there are countries all over the world: Paraguay, Belgium, Solomon Islands in the Pacific, and Singapore in Asia. We have almost one in each continent. Again in yellow, all the countries under review with the Maris presence on them. Just to let you have an idea. In the next session will be, right now it's Rwanda, next session will be Mozambique in Africa, the next session in Africa will be Tanzania, and in the 54th session we have the South Sudan and Zimbabwe. And I am already finishing, just one more minute. Just to some information, just to have clarity about what is going on with these UPRs and with this right to participation that we are trying to promote through the UPR, through this mechanism or these mechanisms in the United Nations. In the last year and a half, we have presented 17 UPRs. And we are still with 5 more for this 2025. Of these 17 UPR that we have presented in the last 1.5 years, 15 were presented with direct participation of children and young people. Countries all over the world. We have here the countries in Africa, but there were others, like Italy, Costa Rica, Italy, other countries where we have done this activity, Fiji in the Pacific, or Kiribati also in the Pacific, many countries, 15 countries, the United States of America, many countries. In these 15 UPRs that we have presented with the participation of children and young people, we have counted more than 1,000 participants in the different workshops that we have run. We are near, let's say, 1,500 participants in the total of these 15 UPRs. It's a huge amount. But it's not only because of the number, it's a great reality. It's not just a dream, it's a reality. We are doing reality, this idea from the calls of the last general chapter. We are making real one of the priorities of the Assembly of Mission, of MIMA 3. We are making real the document Stand Up, Speak Up and Act, giving real participation to children and young people. And I would like just to present this. There are two links at the bottom of the screen. One is with the map of all the UPRs that have been presented during the history. Remember that I told you the year 2007, just to have in mind. From that year, that is the first year that we, as Amaris, we presented a UPR to the United Nations. From that moment, 2007 till now, we have presented more than 80 reports. You can see in huge countries, how many UPRs in each country, and also to have access to the information about the topics, about the concrete recommendations that have been done in this report. You have a summary of these reports in the booklet, in the link that is called booklet. Just to give you this information in case that you would like to check afterwards these two instruments, the map and the booklet. And just it's all from my side. Thank you so much for having me this morning. Thank you to the organizers of the meeting, and also thank you to the kids that were presented during this session. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Brother Ankel Diego. At this point, before we do the closing remarks, we are coming to the end of our program. I would like just for us to stand up quietly and stretch. Just stand up quietly and stretch. Okay, everyone. Okay. Let's round up. Let's round up. Let's take our seats. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, as you can see from the screen, those are the countries that we have submitted to the United Nations, the Universal Periodic Review of those countries, and children's voices have been heard from those countries. How many of us would like to go to Geneva and be present at the United Nations? Raise your hands. How many of us would like to go to Switzerland, Geneva, and be present when these things are happening? Raise your hands. Huh? We don't want to travel. Okay, so as we are coming to the end of our event, allow me at this moment to thank the first person I would like to thank and appreciate is our IT company, the director himself, Adrian. I would like us to observe a moment of silence, by the way. Adrian lost his father a day before yesterday, midnight. And as I was talking to him, and he told me, my dad is gone, and that he is here with us and making sure that the event proceeds successfully. I think we need to observe a moment of silence in honor of his father, Cyril Petro. Let's take a brief moment of silence, and may his soul rest in peace. May the soul of Cyril and all those who have departed rest in eternal peace. Amen. So again, allow me to thank the following people who have played a very significant role in making sure that this event is a success. Remember, as I began, I talked about our president of the foundation, but we also have our local structures. So at this point, I was just talking to our provincial, Brother Emmanuel Wanalirenji, who is in Zimbabwe at the moment. He was following all the events. We would like to thank him for, first of all, allowing this event to take place and giving his blessing that this should go ahead, and also his keen interest that he was also following the event. So, Brother Emmanuel, we are very grateful. And also to our local leadership, Brother John, I'm sure he's also following in Johannesburg. We would like to thank you. And much more, as I mentioned earlier on, I think I talked of Brother Peter, and some of you had not seen him. Brother Peter, I would like to recognize your presence and to ask you to come in front, because there is something that I would like you to do towards the end. So this is Brother Peter. He was away in school, and he has come to be with us, and we planned this event together. We also would like to thank the president of the foundation in absentia, Brother Ken MacDonald, the director general of the foundation, Mr. Andrea Rossi, who is in Rome, and his staff, Angela, Rita, Martha, Eleonora, Pamela, and everyone at FMSI office, and the Secretariat of Solidarity, for making sure that this event is a success. When we come to the school, this event would not have been a success without the hard work that has been put by the school, particularly the school leadership. I would like to acknowledge Miss Karen Darby Michaels. Thank you, Karen, for your supportive role, your PA, and everyone within the school community in making sure that this event is a success. And also, I would like to thank Dr. Ivona and your team from your office for a very inspirational keynote and for being present and always supportive of all the events that take place, and all the staff and people who have come from the Marian girls. We appreciate your presence, and we also appreciate the presence of our Salesian brothers and sisters who have joined here with us. This should not, our networking and our relationship should not just end with the International Day of the African Child. If you have events in your place, invite us. We will be very willing and happy to come. At this point, I would like to invite Dr. Ivona, and I would like to ask Brother Peter to present to you our small token of appreciation for being with us today. Thank you, Ivona. And for those that I have not mentioned by name, the members of staff of this school, I also recognize the presence of our chaplain, Father Makasa. Can you stand up so that you... Yes, that's the man behind... I think he just came in quietly. The man behind our spiritual nourishment of the school. We appreciate your presence and your support. And anyone else whom I have not mentioned by name, it doesn't mean that you are not important or you are not key. There are many people in the background who have supported this event. We, on behalf of the Institute and on behalf of ourselves, we thank you all. We thank you for coming. May God bless you. And please carry on the theme of the right to participation. Lastly, I would like to invite the college head to say a few words and to invite you for the eats and snacks that are set for us. Karen, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Fortune, and thank you to everybody for being here today. It's been wonderful to have schools with us as guests. Thank you to our pupils that spoke, and also to those of you who have come to us from other schools. We do hope that we will also have the opportunity to invite you back again. It's always wonderful when we come together as part of a Catholic Schools network, and it was also wonderful today, particularly to celebrate things from a Marist perspective, which is obviously always very close to our heart. Thank you to Ivona for being here with us. It's been wonderful to see the whole event come together, Brother Fortune, and to see it all in the planning stages and then for it all to take place today. So thank you so much to you for that as well. I would like to invite all of you to join us in the ballet room for tea, please, so that we can enjoy some time networking and enjoying each other's company. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Let's go to the ballet room behind and celebrate and eat and be merry. Thank you. Goodbye to everyone. By the way, one more thing. You all get some things that we have prepared for you, some bookmarks that are here that you remember this day. Thank you.